cuisine has become popular in modern times internationally due to the different appeal that it can offer sometimes for potential diners in relation to publicly known in the West existing sorts of Asian food such as Chinese or even Japanese cuisine. But what's not exactly known is the origins with the modern custom of a group of people all eating from the same serving of food. Throughout the long and vast times of Korean history in relation to cuisine and eating foods, and how to eat the said portions, dining etiquette and mannerisms were based off Chinese ideology and more specifically Confucianism. During the Joseon era of history, there were even guidelines to teach others how to act during the meal. Elementary Etiquette for Scholar Families, written in 1775 by Yi Dokmyu, comment on the such etiquette of the period. Suggestions include, quote, when you see a fat cow, goat, pig, or chicken, do not immediately speak of slaughtering, cooking, or eating it. When you have a meal with others, do not speak of smelly or dirty things such as boils or diarrhea. When eating a meal, neither eat so slowly as to appear to be eating against your will, nor so fast as if to be taking someone else's food. Do not throw chopsticks on the table. Spoons should not touch plates, making a clashing sound. End quote. In terms of who ate, the order was of men by age and or rank, then women. Women usually ate in a separate room from the men. The order of eating for women in most circumstances were the same as for men. Meals were usually eaten in silence. Rarely any conversation or speech at all were done by the men or women. The dining table or meal table setup is also important. As in dynastic times, the table setup is as mentioned important as individual place settings. Moving from the diner's left hand should be as in the following order: rice bowl, spoon, then chopsticks. Hot foods are set to the right side of the table with the cold foods to the left. Soup must remain on the right side of the diner along with stews. Vegetables must remain on the left side along with the rice, and the kimchi is set to the back while the sauces remain in the front. In terms of who ate what and the placement of the food, this was very important to know, as there were other ways in which the Koreans ate, either by themselves or relation to others, but all of this were either abandoned, forgotten, put out of disuse with the situation of Korea in modern times. Japan occupied Korea in the late 1800s and formally took political control over the country in 1910, and this grip on the said country lasted until 1945. During this time, the Korean attitudes towards eating, as mentioned, with each other and even alone, drastically changed. The Japanese abolished most Korean social venues publicly, and the method of dining were naturally impacted by these forced changes. The Japanese soon implemented governmental and national decrees to have most, if not all, of Korean resources and food being among those resources diverted to Japan to help in its own modernization and development. Korea itself was left undeveloped and resources stressed. Korean social movements in the early years of the occupation by Japan urged the abolishment of dynastic methods of eating, including separate tables for patrons or even family members. The idea of unity among Koreans helped promote the idea of eating together rather than apart, which had been done for centuries prior to the Japanese occupation. Not to say that Koreans had not eaten together prior to the 20th century, but it has never been done nationally as it has been done in modern times. As the Second World War progressed and food became even more scarce throughout China and Korea, certain dishes proved to be very effective when eaten among other people. Korean soup dishes in particular, in which can feed more people with less ingredients, became very popular during the Korean War. After the war, the southern portion of Korea was able to rebuild. The preference for eating together stayed with the population, and modern Korean restaurants in particular have latched onto the communal eating idea and reinforced it even more with the Korean population, as well as the idea or concept of everyone eating together regardless of gender, age, or social status. But into the 21st century, the attitudes towards communal eating have actually declined. mostly due to social pressures of eating with coworkers or people that they might not exactly want to or desire to share a meal with. Also, the fact that foodborne illnesses and diseases are much more prevalent in terms of being spread throughout Korea rather than when compared to other Northeast or even Southeast Asian nations, due to the legacy of shared eating throughout the 20th century. Once again, it's not to say that the modern aspect of shared dining or eating among family members, friends, or social group members will be completely abolished or stopped in Korea, but trends are slowly confirming that it might not be at the amount seen nationally in the 20th century